Hi, I'm Robert DiMarzo with UBM Tech Channel here at our Exchange Conference. I'm joined by IDC's Joe Pucciarelli, who delivered some great keynote messages at our Cloud Integrators Forum, so thanks for doing that, Joe. And also participated in the Mainstream Exchange to reach our overall audience here over the course of a few days. It's been a whirlwind of presentations and material. So Joe, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure, Robert.
You've been in the industry a long time. You oversee a lot of data and analysis for IDC. You're not confined to one specific area, so I have to ask, and I think the viewers would enjoy it. What's your overall view of the market right now? Are we going through a great growth phase? Are you worried? Are you bullish? Are you bearish? Go ahead.
I have to tell you that, I think that if you look at the economy, I think I am more bullish on the economy than an awful lot of people are. There's a whole lot of structural reasons why the world's economies are better than I think the general perception is. And I think that that translates into tremendous opportunity for IT. Okay. And the reason it translates into that is that, in the old days we would talk about IT, we would say, IT enables the business. Now IT is the business. And there's just so many examples where IT is central to business processes. So as the world's economies come out of this terrible recession, as companies search for new business models, new products, new approaches to the markets, you're going to see IT take on new shapes, and you're going to see it taking new roles in the organization. Now, you look at what's happening in IT. We're in the middle of transitioning from the PC internet era to the smart technologies era. We're talking about adaptive technologies, we're talking about cloud, we're talking about big data analytics, we're talking about social business and mobile. And the four of them all work together and combine in ways that the sum of the pieces is much greater.
At the Cloud Integrators Forum, I think you woke folks up and talked about, I think it was the third platform that we're in, and the opportunity. The growth part of that is, I think, got everybody kind of standing up in their chair a little bit, versus, we'll say, the traditional, almost flatlined, growth, if you can't say that, of sort of the traditional space. So you want to talk about the opportunity in that third platform that you see from IDC's perspective?
Round numbers, if you look at worldwide IT spend, and the way IDC defines it is the sum of all goods and services that change hand between third parties. So we're not counting IT people on staff, but we're talking about purchases from resellers, hardware, software licenses, and so forth. Round numbers, we're talking about $4 billion in 2013. Okay. About 25% of that is related to this third platform of technologies, which is cloud, big data analytics, social business, and mobility. We believe that within 8 years, by 2020, that's going to comprise at least 40% of the market. And if you look at the growth rate, that's almost a 12% growth rate. Now, if you look at the second technology, second generation technologies, PC, internet, all that stuff, you're looking at basically flat. Okay. Now, our view at IDC as market watchers is there's nothing uglier than a market that's basically flat, because in a market like that, everybody's kind of beating the crap out of each other.
Touch on cloud, and then I want you to talk about how that might be changing the purchasing or buying cycle, because it's bringing in a lot of different people outside of IT than before. A lot of business people have their hand in that. So can you talk a little bit about that as well?
We've talked about rogue spending in IT for about 100 years. I'm exaggerating, but it's been an issue for a long time. What's going on now is that as IT enables business processes, marketing, sales, product development, engineering, those business leaders are feeling empowered to go out and bring IT solutions in to meet their business needs.
It's easier than ever before,
Exactly. You've got these new technologies, software as a service, and so forth. You bring in a service bureau. We're actually in the middle of new research on that at IDC, and clearly there's a lot of rogue IT spending going on, and it's accelerating. Probably the #1 domain for that is marketing. And that's because marketing folks, basically everything that they know about marketing has changed totally in the last 5 years. You've got the internet, you've got social business, you have, do you tweet, do you Twitter, how are you driving leads through bringing leads in the door? There's just so many new opportunities in marketing that are enabled and powered by IT that you can't help the marketing folks. So the opportunity for IT professionals within IT buyer organizations and for the suppliers is to help these marketing organizations really infuse best practices and make it part of the broader scheme of IT inside the organization.
But you don't see the CIO's role going away or central IT going away. It sounds like it's transforming. So you don't want to shift the pendulum too much and focus on line of business and ignore central IT and the CIOs, do you?
Central IT, as it exists, is going to evolve, and you are absolutely right on, Robert. It's about evolution of the role into these new technologies. The organization wants, a single organization, a single department in the organization to keep track of where the money's going, to manage things like compliance, to talk about execution. So the role of the CIO is going to become much more important. We think it's going to evolve into from the Chief Information Officer to the Chief Innovation Officer.
I think that's good news for the solution providers out there that are listening to this. So roaming around our Exchange event, you bumped into attendees, you bumped into vendors. What are your thoughts on the preparedness for the channel to address the challenges that are out there, selling to line of business, cloud, big data, mobility, and your reaction to some and your observations on the vendor side as well?
You know, when you talk to folks, you're in a large group of people, there's always a spectrum of responses. There's people who see the vision, who see the new opportunity and are excited about it. There's folks that are in the middle that are kind of on one foot and the other saying maybe so, and then there's folks saying, you know, gee, I wish for the good old days. And I think that's pretty much where we are in terms of the issues with cloud technology.
Right.
The key thing is that the folks in the middle, while they're looking at it and maybe hemming and hawing a little bit, are looking at it and saying this is the future, and they're really asking themselves questions about how do I catch up with those folks that are further ahead of me. So, you know, from where I'm sitting and the folks that I interacted with, Robert, I would tell you that, you know, the folks at the front end, they get it, they're off to the races. The folks in the middle are on the journey.
Right.
You know, it's really the folks that, probably the biggest category of people are the ones that didn't come to the event, that didn't interact, that didn't see some of the new ideas and get exposed to some of the best practices and some of the excitement and the energy. I think those are the folks that missed out.
So Joe, thanks very much. If somebody wants to drill down a little bit more into your work or contact you, what's the best way to reach you?
Just reach out to idc.com, www.idc.com, and just look for me there.
Great. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned a little bit about the big picture from Joe at IDC, Joe Pucciarelli at IDC, lead analyst, and certainly doing a lot of work with vendors. And now hopefully we expose you to some solution providers as well to factor that into your research. Thanks for watching and thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Robert.